We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist. And it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen again.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's time for you guys to come out of your economic, social, humanity dogma snuggies and divide up. That's what you've done. Sick. Wow, a lot to talk about as far as the nuclear cartel, the nuclear thesis, humanity, the arts, the human spirit, the humanity of every single one of us. I love it how people think that we're new, we're different than past generations, we're different than 500 years ago, we're different than 2,000 years ago. No, we're not. Humanity is humanity. And the ugly soul of some kind of ugly spirit that exists in so many that, and people don't know, they can't tell one from the other because they think soft-spoken, passive-aggressive people are nice, and we know they're the most evil in the world. For instance, Shellfield today is meeting with the TEPCO executive, just more way to, they said they're going to have a discussion, sociopaths with the sociopaths. Everybody's known this in history. Of course, the spite that cordial conversations are dangerous. Passionate, intelligent arguments get results. Keyword intelligence. Everybody who's ever known the great Abraham Lincoln, oh, did he know that? They all knew that. You've been co-opted. You've been co-opted into this dogma thing. And so then you get these type A's that come out of the woodwork and they're going to change the world. And for the most part, they usually crawl out of a crack house or a bottle. George W. Bush, doing cocaine at freaking Camp David, spoiled white papa's, wasted his whole life, bought, paid his way through Skull and Crossbones complex. Well, that's what they do, And, so he decides he's going to sober up. Reads the Bible back to back, says twice, which I highly doubt that. His mother's words, not mine. Lays in the bathtub now and freaking drinks Bud Light till he passes out. But Ted Nugent, another one. We can go on and on and on. Cheech and Chong's great things. I used to be all fucked up on the dope. Now I'm all fucked up with the Lord. And then they always go back. They don't stay that fucked up on their so-called fake religious bravado because they don't even know. Because, look, to be spiritual, to be righteous, to be strong, to be true is something you just don't learn. It's a spirit, it's a light, it's a strength that has developed over time. And a lot of it, I think, has to come through your mom and dad, your grandparents, maybe not even all the way there because nature versus nurture. Think about it. Same families, you can have bad child, good child. Where does that come from? I don't know. I surely don't have that answer. The human spirit, for the humanity. Good son, bad son. Whatever. Same parenting, same school. You sit in the classroom right next to the same teachers, whatever, yet he'll pick up this and they'll pick up that. There's an evil spirit among people and a good spirit among people. And it doesn't all exist in each person. There's not good and evil in each person. There is the good and there's the bad. And that's what humanity has always been, and that's what the arts has always been, is to call this out into attention, to record this, to make people understand through poetry, through literature, through the visual arts. Michelangelo, perfect example. The great, beautiful spirit. Do you realize the greatest artist in the history of mankind, the huge hater complex, was trying to kill him for the last 40 years of his life? He lived in great, great, great fear, because that's what hate does. The African-American community, they've tagged it right along time, the haters. That's who they are, the haters. So they sit and watch YouTube counts or whatever, and they think they're spinning. They think they're in a basement on a computer. And I want people to understand this. I'm not a vlogger. I'm not a screenshotter. I'm not a techie. I'm not even that good at technology. Am I an artist? Yeah. Am I a historian? Yeah. Am I a professor? Yeah. Am I an educator? Yeah. Am I a plasterer? Yeah. I'm a finance guy? Oh, hell yeah. But I'm a human being. And the light shined in me to throw the cancer out. The light has always shined in me. The light has always shined in me from my very, very first thoughts as a boy. Sitting on the edge of that beautiful, incredible delta with my family, harvesting sugar beets with my grandma in the truck, at that great big farm dinner table at high noon every day, which the sun's setting across that beautiful, incredible landscape with literally millions of sandhill cranes, of tundra swans, of every duck you could think on that major, beautiful delta, on that incredible, incredible landscape. I saw that from the very first memory that I have. The sun, the birds, the landscape. I always understood the light. I always understood the humanity. I always understood the art from my very first thoughts. Van Gogh's Sunflower. My very first thoughts, my mother quoting Poe to me. My mother, the records, her and my father dancing. The beautiful, incredible pinup artist is Everlene's own words. Not only could she draw like a camera, she could have been her own model. My beautiful Special Forces Marine, smiling with that perfect smile, and that dark Dane that he was in those dark eyes, and my sister, my twin sister, and, them listening to music, listening to Elvis, listening to dancing in the house. Oh, I understood that humanity from a very, very freaking young child. The beauty of music, the beauty of the arts, the beauty. I have always understood that's what humanity is. The rest is really meaningless. The poetry, the literature, the literature, the literature. From reading books at a very young, my mom reading me books, my grandmother reading me books. They knew that I had issues. They used to call it gifted, whatever, and they knew. I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't control my bowels. I couldn't do anything. But yet, I could do the Delta formula when I was 8. Yet I could go into this incredible historical freaking thesis at a very young age. They knew something was a brew there. My grandma knew my father had been radiated in a Nevada test site. She knew. She knew these incredible, incredible seizures. She watched her beautiful, beautiful son. She was an incredible woman on that landscape, from incredible bloodlines, from incredible families, with those incredible boys of hers. The oldest son snuck out in the middle of the night at 17 years old, the only one out of 12 boys in that community. The rest all dodged the draft on a farm, freaking not him. Her famous story to my grandfather, are you kidding? No, he needs to stay on the farm here. He doesn't. Are you kidding? My 2 brothers are over there fighting. Hitler's killing our family. Don't you see? Hitler's over there killing our family members. They were Danes. Hitler was slaughtering the Danes. And I think it's an incredible irony. She says, you think my son's going to sit here? You think my boys are going to sit here in this community while everybody else runs, tails, and hide? When my 2 brothers are over there, my uncle, the Admiral. Oh, yeah, the Admiral. My grandma's brother. The most famous Admiral in this freaking thing. What a incredible. Look just like Dean Martin. Drink like him, too. Wit just like him. He was brilliant. He loved me. These are the people that raised me. They were fearless. You think these little rat dots, creeps, and these freaking things, I remember people coming at those guys when I was a boy. Whoa. Oh, those guys didn't stand a chance. Not only were they physical, they were strong. They were freaking full of logic, integrity, and oh, did they freaking stand their ground. Oh, boy. We used to have a saying in the old days. People would say, call it your constitution. I remember my dad's uncle, the Admiral. The Admiral was an old man. He was getting crippled. He had been freaking wounded in World War II by a piece of shrapnel on the boat. It's right there, piece of shrapnel on his face, everything. And my other uncles, the incredible doctors that they were, the neurosurgeon, the heart surgeon, they had freaking went to work on him. They were actually younger than him, very young apprentices. You know, they protected his beautiful face. He was an incredible guy, but it started to take its toll. One day he's with his cane, and I mean, this how he was even upright was beyond me. And he's walking, and so, or he's over by my grandma's house, and he's on the farmhouse, right there where I grew up, right there where I lived, my whole life, where I still live. This guy's cane, I mean, he can't get up the stairs, whatever, and I reached out, says, let me help you. You know, did what I was taught to do as a little boy. Smacked me in the arm with the cane. Says, are you fucking kidding me, boy? What do I look like, a fucking cripple? We had a saying for that among men. They were called constitution. Men had a constitution. Very, very, very few men have a constitution. Very few men know how to be strong, know how to be loving. One good thing that I have seen in humanity, I see men with the baby on their chest in the thing walking around. That's how I got raised. My father was a Special Forces Marine, and let me tell you, I would have loved to see some of these big mouth punks go at that guy. Whoa. Oh, my God, was he physical? Was he intense? Was he brilliant? He would pick me and my twin sister up, and my little brother. He used to laugh at us, say, hey, your mom wanted to call you Hansel and Gretel. He would pick us up. He would hold us. He would hug us. He would kiss us. He loved us. And, oh, was he intense. You think I'm intense? Oh, his wit. And I watched him be murdered. I watched him be murdered by the nuclear cartel. I watched that beautiful. As they danced, they stood outside. They would have these, my dad would throw these parties for the entire area, and we lived in the middle of these buildings, and he would rotisserie chickens. They would buy soda pop for all the kids, beer for the guys. They would sit around, and him and my mom would dance, you know, in her beautiful cotton dress and that incredible body and that incredible face and his incredible body and his incredible face. These two beautiful people with their beautiful children. My oldest sister, dark, looks, you would swear she's Mexican. Dark Danes, beautiful, beautiful people. We would dance with the children, dance with the kids, with the birds in the landscape. Then the music stopped. Incredible, massive seizures. He was drafted. He was a drafted Marine into the 50s. Semper Fi's get a man of honor, a man of integrity, a man of dignity, which men have none in this country. That is the problem. No men. Women, how about the women who sleep with the men that loot, rob, chill, no consultation? They're even worse. I'm for sale. They might as well just, I'm in Del Mar down there, you know, and you'll see these incredible, beautiful females that are so maiming and ruining their bodies. Plastic surgery and hanging around with some 70, 80-year-old for sale, tattooed on their heads. No integrity. The men used to have constitutions. The women used to have quiet dignity. I will quote Johnny Versace. I love Johnny Versace, by the way. He was an amazing dude in a lot of ways. You want to talk a mind and a wit? The American female. The great American female. Remember, this is a time in the 50s and 60s and 70s when there were incredibly physical, beautiful women with all kinds of integrity, with their beautiful cotton dresses, Jackie Kennedy. My mom, I can remember the day Bobby was killed, my mom in her beautiful cotton dress in the kitchen cooking, with her hair all spun up in a thing, and her freaking, and she was beautiful, amazing woman. Just crying. They were incredible women. Johnny Versace, the American female, true. The great progressive era. Charm, elegance, grace, dignity. He says lots of them. Lots of them. That is the thing that has been lost in the American female. And he used to spill it out into his design, into his clothing. It's gone. He used to say, not even 1 in 100. I can't even find 1 in 1,000 anymore. Is it 1 in 1,000,000? if we're lucky. You tell me one in popular culture. Name me one elegant, dignified, incredible, beautiful, graceful, charming female that's strong. These women were strong. Do not kid yourself. The women that raised me, my grandmothers, incredible. They were famous. Both my grandmothers were incredibly famous in this town. Historians, brilliant, beautiful females with incredible charm, incredible elegance, incredible grace, incredible strength. Loving, and that's the way the community was. There were lots of them. They were amazing. They were the women that were our teachers. They were the women our neighbors. They were the women that watched out for us. They looked out over all the children. They got it right. When their man got out of hand and he started going on, no, come here. Sit down at the kitchen table around dinner. After she cooked it, after she was probably working, after she was raising the kids, after she was bottling the fruit, after she was doing all the work, teaching the children, at the school, involved with the children, after all that, sit down, hey, what are you doing? Do I need to have a talk with you? Do I need to straighten you out? Let me tell you something. You're going off the left field. You need to grab a hold of yourself, your constitution. And those men listened because they loved them. Not anymore. Over. For a guy to sit around on a computer screen in his basement or whatever and just do screenshot. Now, that has nothing to do with art, has nothing to do with information. And there's plenty of vloggers and bloggers that's all they do. Posting regurgitation screen. Look, this is a visual genre. YouTube is a visual genre. Now, what I'm speaking right now is in a verbal genre. Communications. So when you're screenshotting, put stuff, what is that? It's a zero. It will evaporate, not like water, because we're rising up like water, like the voices of our great-granddaughters. Oh, boy. No, it's not even water, because water continues. You know how old water is on this earth? I mean, please, somebody says, well, you know, most water's been freaking reused. Yeah, probably millions of times. Hello. So what are we doing to the water? Nuclear radiating, the very birthplace of all humanity, our mother. If you don't know anything about the evolution of this planet, or even the spirituality of any religious philosophy, in the basic fundamental logic, it all comes back to the water. It comes back to the sun. The water and the sun. The Pacific Ocean, the birthplace of all life. The ocean, the water. That's where life evolved from. It's unarguable. Go catch a coelacanth. Or let's find an ivory blood. You know, I used to say this all the time before anybody ever found me on YouTube. I was a human rights activist big time then. Did a lot of things. They sell time. Hey, I'm like a coelacanth or an ivory-billed woodpecker. They thought we were extinct. A man with a constitution. A man with a loving spirit. A man with a soul. And I like these people call me faggot. Oh, boy, if you only knew. If you only knew the females that I've been through in my life. Wow. Take a look at all my daughters. You think they got that physicality and that looks from me? I don't think so. I think from their mamas. Wow. Because a man, to be a man, I was very sexually active as a long time with a lot of incredibilities in all those ways. But I had the other side to me, and I always had the other side, the loving spirit, the father who raised those children when I was too young, who held those children in their arms, and freaking, I was ahead of my time. Oh, boy. So was my father, I guess. I don't know. That's the gift of humanity, the art. My videos are pure art, pure visual communication. Are they paintings? Absolutely. Are they poetry? Hell yes. Are they literature? On Balco. The ultimate literature. It's been said forever and ever that literature only changes around the edges. I've always disagreed with it. Literature is at the core of all humanity. It is always literature. Now, literature through Michelangelo. Art is nothing but communication. By the way, he used to use the symbol Semper Fi all the time. I think it's so beautiful. Think about the Merchant Marines, 1775. Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton was a student of Greek tragedy, but he also read a lot about Michelangelo, a lot. The evolution of literature has shaped, and I love the great historian at NYU, the only one that I've ever really loved, and he said so eloquently, so beautifully. I stood right next to him, I believe, in 1991. when I was on Wall Street. He and I did a little dissertation at Hamilton's grave, and he said it so perfectly. He says, we don't have to have anything named up. We don't have to have a mountain carved out of Hamilton. We don't have to build statues, which there are. There's a great statue of Hamilton beside the treasure he would roll over. We live Hamilton. This country is Hamilton. It was until the Patriot Act was signed. Over. Done. You could see him crying. I could feel his soul at my back. I have been at his grave so much in my life. I used to always walk by there. I used to always pray there because he was righteous. He was true. He was the first abolitionist. He watched the slave trade. Scottish royal father and his beautiful, beautiful, sexy, incredible mother. Yeah, the Scottish royal guy had sex with her. That was the baby. Oh, he couldn't have her for his beautiful wife because, no, that's not the rules. And the royals have to keep the freaking sickening, grotesque, evil bleeders and their freaking ugly fucking bloodlines alive. He abandoned them. He orphaned that young boy. There's nothing more heartbreaking and hardcore to a child than the father abandoning the boy. I guess unless you're Adrian Peterson and you beat the boy almost to death. There's nothing more heartbreaking. My father, the beautiful sunflower, would bark and carry on and never laid a finger on me. He didn't have to. There's Hamilton. He's orphaned. He's heartbroken. I go back to Lennon all the time, and I think that thing that we did with the young baby wolf, Kevin Finnegan, and Eric Oppenheim, and myself, I've been wanting to do that for years, and I think it's so perfect that it ended up being Eric and Kevin with me. Those two amazing men. Oh, yeah. You know, young Kevin, he gets it. That kid gets it. He reminds me of me and my age that so much. He even looks just like I used to look, exactly. Even my daughter says, wow, my God, he looks just like you when you're that age. Everybody used to say to my oldest girl, because I was so young raising my children, boy, you girls are sure doing a good job raising Kevin. Lennon, as brilliant and incredible as he was, he abandoned Julian. Julian was heartbroken. I think that book and Julian's statements are some of the most powerful, most profound I've ever read. And everything. The most famous man in the world is murdered on that spot, on that horrible Monday Night Football night. Patriots playing the Dolphins. Howard Cosell breaking down crying on national television. Rightfully so. It's over. I knew it was over. I think a lot of people knew that the music's died and the art was over. Warhol surely knew it. So many surely knew it. It was over. Julian said it so perfectly. He says, I didn't know whether, when the call came in to my mom, I didn't know, and she told me, I didn't know whether to jump up for joy or cry. Because to abandon a child, to bring a child into the world, and so what happens? You get guys like this Dot Boy. You get people like these freaks. They're wounded children, and it's perpetual. They're very wounded children. They won't come to Kurtz with that because they had horrible parenting. They did not have the love. It's obvious. And then they show it out in public. Hey, I'm a wounded child. I'm a vlogger. And so I just take on this guy. By the way, they have nothing to do. Palco, wounded child, very wounded child. I feel sorry for all of them. It breaks my heart, all of them. They're wounded children. They're taking up, stay up all night, mix their videos because they're so wounded. They don't believe in anti-nuclears. They don't believe in anything. They believe it is the humanity, it's their ugly spirit that is perpetuated through them, through their father, through their father's father, the chain of abuse. I had no chain of abuse. I had the chain of love. And this has always been the quintessential fight from the beginning of mankind. This is the light versus the freaking enslavement. That's exactly what Hamilton understood. He watched the slave trade in the Caribbean. He was a buccaneer. He was doing the slave traders' books at 11, 12 years old. He saw how horrible it was. The first abolitionist. When he founded this country, make no mistake about it, who founded this country in all ways, more than any human being by far, more than Jefferson. Washington's words, his pseudo de facto son, Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton, is this country, was this country until the day the Patriot Act was signed. He was this country. We must have a public army. For let me tell you, Jefferson, we can't all be slave owners and farmers. Jefferson was a slave owner who never tilled. There's nothing more closer to God than till the earth. Jefferson never tilled the earth one time, not one iota. He was an oligarch, born into freaking incredible wealth with his many, many slaves. And by the way, I knew Fawn McKay Brody very personally, right here. She died right after Lennon, who wrote that incredible book. She told freaking her husband, she says, I love Jefferson. Her research was so heavy. She says, I'm falling in love with a dead man. I would leave you right now for him, which she was incredible. She was a genius. My grandma's very close friend. She was brilliant. The greatest writer in 150 years since Harriet Beecher, oh, no doubt. Ostracized? Oh, hell yeah. That's what they do. It's a brilliant art. That's what our community does. That's what we have done in America. We try to rewrite. We have smashed the arts into a freaking dust. We have blown up all the big Buddhas in the United States. Frank Lloyd Wright, freaking Prairie School that I grew up in. My school. The only Frank Lloyd Wright, Leslie Hawkins Prairie School Elementary School in America. I got video. They tore it down. Blowing up big Buddhas, whether women wore burqas, the repression of the arts, because we had so many abused, wounded children. And they're fighting out. Watch Sean Kennedy's interview on Fox if you don't believe me about it. He says, yeah, I was beat with a switch by my dad, and I deserved it. There you go. He says it all. We know how sick. Glenn Beck says it all. Abused, hardcore, wounded children. So they shout in a pastor, and they try to incorporate Jesus on their side when they're the very opposite. They think about that. They're wounded, they're hate. As we were taught as boys, right here, we were taught by incredible handcart pushing romantics from Europe. I'll never forget, here's my father. On the side of the railroad tracks we live is nothing but Danes and Scandinavian dairy farmer immigrants. On the other side of the track is Del Monte Co-op from Italy, amazing northern Italian tomato farmers. It's all tomato farms, tomato capital of the world. First generations from people who fled Mussolini, hardcore fled Mussolini. We're standing around with Dario Castesso and my father. What a beautiful, amazing freaking man he was. We're standing there. I believe he was from right up above Como. He was talking about his land and his home. I'm a little boy. At the old little depot grocery, we sit around. The Professors owned it, and that's where everybody gathered. That was a gathering. That's where you bought your meat. I got my first bike. Everything was done there. The community center was the little store. Everybody, by the dozens. That's where the men sat around and had their beers. That's where freaking people talk. That's where, and by the many dozens. The farmers, after their hard work, that's where they were. Their children. We're sitting around talking. And he says, talking about his homeland in a beautiful, elegant, and my father was the greatest storyteller ever. He was so elegant, beautiful. He reminded me of my father was a walking, talking northern Irish book, and he had no Irish blood. I don't know where it come from. I maybe we'll never know because his bloodlines are only traceable on the father's side, not the mother's side. He says, talking in such a beautiful way. I'll never forget it. How talking about old northern Italy and Austria. On the way home, and I'm like, Dad, I'm a little boy in his beautiful 1966 Ford unibody truck. Working and sitting right next to him with his arm around me. He says, I said, Dad, why would anybody leave such a beautiful place? For the romance. For the romance. And for the hate chased them out there to find the new romance on this landscape. Oh, did my father get it? Oh, did I get it? When I was building my great, big, huge, beautiful house, which was a war-winning, incredible house, I had two friends that used to come over there from the community. I'm in my 30s. One was 97, Elmer Penman, Dario, very old. Come over there and we would sit and talk. I understood where respect came from. Oh, did I respect those men? They were men. They were men with wisdom and constitutions. They were incredible. That's people. The women, their women, their women, their wives, amazing, brilliant, dignified, elegant, charmful, graceful. They had it all. They had it. Gone. Over. None. Zero. So the light versus the hate. Slavery is hate. Slavery takes many things, the passive aggressive, usury. That's all this country ever was. All the country ever was. We founded this country, the first 8 employees were the Coast Guard. I stood right there and screamed and yelled in the streets right in front of Hamilton. They were arresting all those people. An incredible metaphor. And people don't understand, oh, this is different. This isn't history. History unfolding in front of their face, and they don't even see it. Happened many times before. Antebellum South. 500 years ago today, Michelangelo making one of the greatest pieces of art, his freaking head, the human head, 500 years ago today. People don't understand because they think, oh, we're different. The only thing different about us is our arrogance and the lack of Constitution. As we shred our Constitution, the American, as we turn into nationalists, we turn into nation-building nationalists. We build statues and fake statues, fake monuments around it. Remember this, Hamilton, the first Secretary of the Treasury. We must have a central bank for it is easy to think that our shores will not be attacked for our vast natural resources. Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson. We must have a public militia. The merchant marines are born. We must have the Coast Guard to block cheap Chinese goods to coming into America. That's what the Revolutionary Wars were. We must collect duties, tariffs to pay off this freaking debt that we cured. The little old ladies holding paper all over New England. We must stop the East India Company. We must stop the royal system. For he hated the royal system. Was he a Greek tragedy? Oh boy. Amazing. Amazing how history has played it out. We must have a central bank, for there's going to come a time when we're going to be attacked, and we must have grade A plus credit rating with absolutely no debt. It's about the time when we're going to need to borrow. Oh, did that come true on 1941, December 7th? Oh, did that come true? Without Hamilton's thesis, now the military completely out of absolutely. It's not that military. It's not what he hypothesized. It's not what this country ever was. Not now. It's the Queen's Army. Because we got rid of the tariff at the port. Free market. The Queen loves free market. The Queen loves those words. New World Order? Oh no, Old World Order. The feudals are back. King George is back. Mission accomplished. George Walker Bush. George Walker Bush. Walker. Look up Walker. Look out who Walker is. The House of Windsor. Prescott Bush. There's Buddy. Mussolini's very close friend. What they did to Mussolini is exactly what should have been done here to these traitors, to these rats. But they don't have to do it because we have the hate that exists in this country, and they have YouTube sites. They don't have YouTube cameras. And you see any of these people, think about what I do. I'm out in the landscape. I'm in the street. I'm an activist all over. And by the way, the best activists in the world get millions of dollars of funding. The funding that I've been receiving has been going to pay my hospital bill. And let's talk a little finance right now. Let's talk finance. You followed my financial thing 3 years ago. I'm telling you, get out of silver, get out of gold. I told you that there's a video out there. I said short silver one. It was $47. Short in the triple leverage down. Triple leverage ETF. Now do the math. Can you do the math? 47 down to 17. Now what kind of percent drop is that? Now do the triple leverage on it. Okay? Gold, get out at 1900. Shorter than the triple leverage. Gold is pushing under 12. It's going to go under maybe 1200 today. At 19, I said sell it. Either short the ETF. Buy Tesla. Buy Tesla. It's $15. It's $16. Tesla's what, 250? Do the math. 3 years ago, right before cancer, every morning I'm up talking to a lot of my old students because a lot of them are fund managers. I'm telling them, look, Kramer, everybody's screaming and yelling, here it comes again, here it comes the Dow's 9,500. I'm like, no, the fundamentals are completely different. Let's talk about this. Corporations have been given carte blanche because of the free market. They've been co-opted by Operation Foxconn, which is run right out of the House of Windsor, and it's CIA funded, and I can prove it. The Pentagon, the stronger, leaner Pentagon, the smaller one under Clinton. Oh, that's over. It's a big, out-of-control, freaking queen, freaking pay the Dragon Slayer beast is completely out of freaking control. All happened in the last 14 years. All of it. Lock, stock, barrel. Do the math on the financial costs, Mike. Are you people blind and they're just ignorant? And they're saying, oh, no, those not real. I've understood. I mean, yeah, we attract a lot of very ignorant people into these freaking genres. We attract a lot of very intelligent people. When I first, before I got cancer and before Fukushima happened, I was getting ready to go back in the hedge fund industry, doing my financial videos, and one of the professors at Berkeley was playing my financial videos to his students. And students in the master's program were following along. And I'll never forget, I got an email from him. He says, hey, some of these kids got a drinking game in the dorm going on. Every time you say the word fuck, I said, well, if that's the case, none of them are going to graduate. But I had it dead right the whole time. I mean, I look back on it. If I would have been still on Wall Street, oh, forget about it. I'd be a billionaire. But it wasn't my place and it wasn't my time. My spirit and my soul was put into concrete before I was born. The cancer existed in me, there's no doubt, before I was born. Man-made? Oh, hell yes. It nuked my father in that test site. He conceived me later. Now, I have a girl twin. Boy-girl twins are so rare. We know that it's a mutation of the genetic pool, no doubt. We know that. We know that male-female twins end up being incredibly amazing people for lots of very obvious reasons. I was sick. I was fighting. I was mutated from birth. Did the cancer always lay in me? I think there's no doubt. Was there spirits at work that brought the cancer out in me at that time and place? No doubt. When Fukushima happened, did Fukushima pile on me? No doubt. I placed in time, I was not meant to be rich in that way. I had $800,000 I'd turned in. $3,500 right on YouTube. Right on YouTube, I turned $3,500 into $800,000 right in front of your faces. Right in front. I mean, people arguing with the dog, like, oh, God, gold. And by the way, we know that 90% of people that comment on YouTube videos do not watch the video. 90%. Google knows it. Google knows it. We know that the screenshotters and the people that are on their retention levels are extremely low. I know as artists that they will just poof, fade into the wind as the zeros that they are. They're meaningless. It's totally meaningless garbage. You know, and the thing is, I mean, thousands and thousands of videos these people that think they're, oh, ISIS is going to hit the earth and kill you. Oh, the Yellowstone's going to blow up. Gold's going to 5,000. Oh, Max Kaiser, episode 496. Stacy's brilliant. Do not kid yourself. Stacy is a genius. Max, I sometimes wonder. I love Max, by the way. Do not get me wrong. I really do love Max. I think he's awesome. I've known him for a long time, you know, in a pseudo-de facto way, not in a personal way, but I love him. But he just hammered this silver fish, and because his dogma got the best of him. Dogma can get the best of anyone, even the intelligent. He let his anger and his light freaking eat him up. Oh, silver's going to the moon. No, it's not. Because I will guarantee, as this guy, we will guarantee you that gold's going. When he used the word guarantee, I knew it. Gold, I think, 320. Guaranteed it was going up that day. Huh. 12.10 today? Huh. Well, people can start guaranteeing. I was on Wall Street long enough, but the last three, my God, wow. So I started yapping in again this year about I want to open my hedge fund. Hopefully, there's a wealthy investor out there that we can get together because that's you have to have. Saying Apple's going to split. Now let's get real about the thesis. I have this professor I've been arguing with, and I got an argument with him again today. He has been arguing about that Apple's going down since Apple 2008 at $89. Oh, it's going down. Their dig's up, going down. Apple today is 700, and I believe split adjusted $708 or $9. By the way, they got approval today to sell into China, so they'll be eating their own. I won't own the stock. I'll trade the derivative. The derivative in fact, the derivative is actually negative to the shareholder because you call them out. So I tell you guys, go in again, another financial call, and because you're too dogma to freaking listen, because you got such dogma that paper's not money. American 100 bills ain't money. The ultimate exchange of currency in the history of mankind is American $100 bills. The ultimate. That you can buy anything, anywhere on the face of the earth, anytime, any place, anyhow. It's the most accepted exchange for anything in the history of humans, bar none. Bar none. Ever. When you sell stocks, you get $100 bills. They send you checks. That currency, you can take that debit card, and anybody accepts a debit card anywhere, right off your cell phone. You can buy anything you want with it. Anything. Oh, when the things crash and shit hits the fan, I'm going to need my... Oh, no, you're not. You're going to need $100 bills in cash. So I says, Apple's getting ready to split. Look, they pay no taxes. None. They have slaves for employees. They have a cultural phenom of branded, the greatest branding, and they've never invented anything, ever. They're the greatest marketing company in the history of mankind, bar none. And by the way, I like to tell people, Steve Jobs' first job, I named Steve Chinese Jobs. He worked for the guy who invented Atari. Oh, right here, Clearfield, Utah. Oh, yeah. I love what he says about Steve. He hired Steve at 18 or 19 years old. And he says he was such an asshole and such a radical and such a prick to everybody, I had to make him work nights by himself when he wasn't around anybody. I met Jobs several times. I was a semiconductor analyst. I got to go to that big grand show way back. Oh, my God, he was a prick. Remember, you think his subconscious knew? I think his subconscious did know. Incredible. He was vegan to the 10th power. He wouldn't even take showers because the skin is the organ, and he didn't believe it. You know, he was so worried about the contamination. Living there in Marin County, oh, he knew. One of the cancer hotspots of the world, oh, hell yeah. Playing with components in Hewlett-Packard's garage as a little boy. The greatest story, right as I got sick, I'm watching Isaacson's interview about, oh, he should have had the surgery. Bullshit. One of my doctors is one of Steve Jobs' doctors. I have a whole massive team of doctors. And thanks to philanthropists around the country. So don't weigh my thing because I got cut off Medicaid, illegally, by the way, and I forked up all my money. I was doing the math the other day. I had 4,400 shares of Tesla that I paid $16,000 for when I got sick. I had to sell it to get into the hospital. Do the math. That's over $1 million just then alone. I had literally thousands of Apple 480 calls, and there's videos to prove it. The stocks at 280 that I paid $30, they ended up being worth $6,000 a piece. I had hundreds of triple leverage on the silver in my portfolio. You guys watched it right there. Everybody watch it. Full down YouTube, but people are too dogma. I've come to the conclusion people don't want success. It is the hate, because the slavery and the hate. I don't know. It's because a lot of men abused their daughters through the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You know, I think there was a tremendous amount of sexual abuse that went on. I think much, much more, and we see it here spill out. I meet so many girls that I'm involved with, whether it be sexually, whether it be verbally, whether it be physically, in my lifetime. That, you know, I've been single for a long time. And then I find out, yeah, I was sexually abused by my father. I was sexually abused by this. I mean, over and over. So that hate continues. They can't handle and they can't deal with and realize that hate they're perpetuated through their own passive aggressive hate to their own children, to their own people. Now they do it on freaking videos on YouTube. These people are abused children. Hardcore. There's no doubt Palco's a very abused child. There's no doubt. And talk about betrayal. This Doss, these guys, these are abused children. It's sad to watch it. And they just spill it out on their freaking shirt sleeve like, you know, I spill out everything on my shirt sleeve, especially since I got cancer, because that is the artist in me. My videos are pieces of art. I'm an artist. Hello, my videos are art. They're the humanity. They're the ledger. They're tearing the toe. And we know the people that get these brutal cancers, the more transparent and the more humanity and the more you scream and the more you let everybody into your world, we know your survival rate goes up by hundreds of times. We know that. To repress and not talk about your cancer, get quiet, you die. I mean, it's the light. Don't people see it is the good light. It is the light. It is the spirit. The old natives knew it. Russell Means knew it so elegantly. The white buffalo know it. These Megan Rice knows it. Martin Luther King knew it. John Kennedy knew it. Abraham Lincoln knew it. Alexander Hamilton knew it. Michelangelo knew it. Vincent van Gogh knew it. Oh, did they know it? But the hate takes the field. The haters are very persistent. They're very strong. George W. Bush, the abused, freaking no-love child, got off the cocaine. There's a reason they're on the cocaine, the booze, went back in the gutter. So, and then they try to jump to Jesus when Jesus was exactly opposite of everything they stand for. The Mormons, the evangelicals, the Fox News, the hairspray, beat up children, the wounded children try to play the Jesus card, and that's what they hijacked when he was Jesus died so I could be rich. What? No. Jesus was a liberal. Jesus was a radical. Jesus feed the poor. Threw the money changers out of the town. These people, think about it. The redder the state, the more they are with usury. The welfare bitches, we know who the welfare bitches are, the red states. The military-industrialized complex. The haters. These people will say, you even mentioned the word, let's go bomb some foreign country, especially in the Middle East, the Crusaders. They don't even know anything about the geography. They don't care. Kill. That is the hate from their childhood. It is pure sight, and it's as old as mankind. This is a pure quintessential fight between good and evil, love and hate. The spirit, enlightenment versus usury. That's what America was founded on, was enlightenment. The enlightened. How do you enlighten? A tariff. You enlighten your people. Hamilton knew it. You put a tariff at the port, the Tariff Act of 1789 to incentivize the buying of homemade goods, because what that does, it throws the light into the person. Jobs are not about money. There never have been. Jobs about feeling good about yourself. You have a good job. You work 40 hours a week, and you're making something beautiful. You're making something great with your hands, whether it be a General Motors freaking 1960 Bel Air or freaking 1968 Chevelle. Beautiful automobiles, beautiful pottery, beautiful china. I remember the china we used to eat off when we were boys. And my daughters can tell you, I used to make sure I bought really nice. I would shop retro stores and buy really nice, hand-painted, collective. I used to really love the Franciscan stuff. I have tons of really good, great Franciscan. I like the Franciscan plums. My daughter always says, in those videos you can watch, I have that green set of Franciscan china that sits in that little curio cabinet of mine. My daughter, oh my God, I made sure my children ate off those plates so that they could see that the food that you eat is not just food. It is the art. If you eat an animal, you kill an animal, you better eat every single speck of that animal. Assembly line, I mean, what we've done in this country, our arrogance. I've seen some people are, and they're proud of their ignorance, drunk and proud of it, their hate, their soul, their hate. Their abused childhood spills out, and it's so obvious. Love versus hate, the Enlightenment. We flipped in 1981, the day that Lenin was killed. The love was over. It was gone. Was Lenin all about love? I wonder. He was famous. He had issues just like we all have issues. He made a freaking horrible choice, I believe, to abandon Julian. Did he change the world? Both times. Imagine, did he change the world? Did his death change the world? The music was over. It was over. We had increasing nominal wages, the greatest socialist system in the history of mankind from 1945 to 1980. You go to that first video on my website, communist versus socialism versus, capitalism, which we've never been any of it. And I put it up, and it's a blotter test in its own right. It's very plain Jane, dry, very, Economics 101 plain freaking, one of my very early lectures I would do in the Economics 101 freshman class. And the dogma that spills into it, because they've made it up in their mind. It's pure dogma, and dogma is ignorance. Dogma is hate. Dogma is the lack of the enlightenment. Enlightenment is to open the soul and see the truth and see the light and see the love and see the humanity. It is slavery. American corporations in China, using China thing, not paying their share of taxes, it is the East India Company. Everything we fought against from the inception of this country. We've turned into everything we stood up against. All the blood. Remember Vietnam and Korea to ward off the communist Chinese, which they're not communists. They're feudals, just like we are. New World Order, Old World Order. It's the exact same pieces, but it's spread even to China. It is royal families. You're born into wealth. The trade, the feudalism, we trade you land, freaking jobs, and money for your loyalty, for your yellow journalism loyalty. You work for CNN. You work for Fox. You work for ABC. You're loyal. We'll make you a lot of money, but you swear your allegiance to our loyalty. We give you land, a house. We give you some money. We give you a little bit of fame, but you swear your allegiance. You don't report on Fukushima. Don't you dare. I love it now. They're reporting on the uprising in Hong Kong. The uprising in Taiwan was 10 times what it is in Hong Kong. Oh, Taiwan's was anti-nuclear. Some of the greatest human rights rising protests in the history of mankind have happened in the last 3 years, all over the world. No media whatsoever, because they've swore their allegiance. You want to freaking find out exactly how this ends? You take the board of directors of General Electric, the board of directors of CNN, the board of directors of Fox News. They're the same small group of people. They have names and addresses. Go to Yahoo Finance. Click on General Electric. Click on. There it is. They list their names, their addresses, their wealth, the whole thing, because that's written into the Constitution. That's part of the law. But they know these people are too ignorant to even know who they are. And they'll say, oh, we're going to find out who they are, and we're going to go to Jamie Dimon's house. By the way, Jamie Dimon is dying of cancer in his throat right now. All his money can't another minute by. It didn't work for Steve Jobs. By the way, Steve Jobs he's arrogant. He was going to be saved. To his very death. He would bring in new teams of God. Oh, fuck you. I'm not dying. Bring in new teams. New teams. That's the arrogance of these people. Abused child. Oh, do you know about freaking childhood? Adopted. The father abandons the mother. She has to give him up for adoption. Foster homes. Very wounded child. His beautiful, amazing sister, the great writer that she is, where is she coming out? Naomi Wolf, or Naomi Klein. Chris Hedges, they're pathetic. Wounded children, pathetic. After the fact, no, they're war profiteers. So they go back. So it's an amazing story. Look up who Steve Jobs' sister is, her biological sister. It's amazing. It's an amazing story. They didn't know who each other were. They were given up for adoption. Very similar to the Barack Obama thesis. You had a foreign exchange student going with a high intellect, intelligent, genius mother. They hook up together, create kids, and abandon them. Same thing as Obama. Exact same thing. His mama who died of cancer so young, that amazing soul she was, that brilliant mind that she was in Kansas, gone, dead. She can't raise him. He has no father to raise him. Wounded child? Absolutely. Holding his Nobel Prize by freaking drones babies. Absolutely. Wounded children. Very wounded. Steve Jobs. His sister finds out who he is. The great writer that she is. He goes to visit Steve Jobs and says, I'm your sister. Wow. Look, I've been really working hard. I found our father. There's a coffee shop in Sacramento. I'm going to see him. You want to go? Fuck no. Fuck that rat, scummy fucker. She goes. She doesn't tell him who she is. She talked to him. He says, and then she spills the beans. I'm your daughter. Well, I wish you would have found me when I was somebody. I used to really be somebody in the Bay Area of California. I used to have a restaurant there, right near Apple's headquarters. Every Friday night, Steve Jobs used to come into my restaurant. We would talk for hours. They had no idea that was his biological father. He had no idea. So she goes back to Steve and says, Steve, you're not going to believe this. Do you remember a restaurant you used to go in every Friday for years or that, so-and-so, blah, 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 yeah? And you used to talk, oh, yeah, I used to like that guy. I used to talk to him all the time. Do you know that's your biological father? No. And remember this, the chain of abuse, Steve Jobs did the same thing to his own child. Yeah, that's a fact, Jack. Look it up. He abandoned his own child after him because it's a chain of abuse, and that's what these royal fuckers do. And that's what these fucking rat fuckers are. Jeff Palco's a very, very wounded, abused child. It's sad. It's sad. These people, these vloggers and these haters that are out, I'm not. I was a very loved child. by a very wonderful parents and wonderful grandparents and wonderful people, incredible people. Even though I was autistic and I had issues and I was sick and I struggled and I had freaking a lot of issues, and it was hard for me. Teachers didn't understand me, coaches didn't understand me, people didn't understand me, but I had the landscape. I had the sun, I had the birds. I could go on incredible walks. I had the music. I still love the music. I don't watch YouTube videos. I watch YouTube music videos. I love old YouTube. I mean, my videos are pieces of art. Are they literature? Oh, fuck yes, they're literature. Absolutely 100. A book, you got to watch it. My whole book's still out. It'll be 3 years, October 11th to the day that this incredible violent cancer attacked me in an epic, epic way. 3 years to the day. Like the night walk. 3 years, I'll walk. I'll walk and pay homage and pay honor to all those people that I went in there with that day. Gail, my friend, who got sick the same day. That beautiful soul. Dead within 4 months. Paul, who got sick the same freaking month. Dead. Carla. Kevin and Carla, both de novo. Dead. Tracy, that incredible fighter that he was. Dead. Judy, my neighbor, got sick 2 months after I did. Dead. Little Molly, the beautiful 8-year-old little soul, the youngest one we ever know to have this incredible disease in the country. Dead. All of them. Dustin, eyeball bulging out of his head, dead in 3 weeks. Got dead. Fall of 2011. All these people, dead. Dana, as we went into her room, and her brother did videos of her beautiful, beautiful, what a beautiful, beautiful, incredible thing. Watching her fade away and die, dead. My beautiful father, In the Name of the Father, my father. Have you ever watched that movie, In the Name of the Father? Again. Northern Ireland. Who stole Bongo's trousers? I wonder if Bongo ever had any fucking trousers. Look it up, John Cooper Clarke. John Cooper Clarke. Look it up. Who stole Bongo? And by the way, when Max Kaiser did that and had John Cooper, it was brilliant. And to make me no mistake, I love Max Kaiser. And Stacy. Stacy is a fucking genius. A fucking brilliant genius. Oh, they get it. They get it. Yeah, he got, the dogman got his best hair on this. That's okay. I forgive him for that. What? So what? He got it wrong and he dug in his heels. That's okay. But he's right about the corruption and he's right about the freaking faces of these corrupt cartels. He's right on it all. He's absolutely fucking 100% right. How can they not fucking keep making money? Do you know how much fucking money Apple is going to fucking make? Do you have any idea? They're going to start selling. They sold 10 million iPhones. I stood right at Vanderbilt's place and interviewed. I'm a real activist. Look at my videos. At Livermore on day 1000. Oh my God. Walking through Vanderbilt's interviewing people on the iPhone in lots of ways. At the Megan Rice hearing. At her fucking jail cell. You think I'm some fucking blogger sitting around? I'm competing on fucking view counts? Are you people insane? Can you not see what I do? Can you not see my activism in the fucking streets all over this country on all the issues? I stand on the right fucking side. I'm a student of Hamilton. I'm a student of freaking Abraham Lincoln. I'm a student of Roosevelt. I'm a student of freaking the Kennedys. I love Bobby Kennedy, everything that he ever fucking stood for. Martin Luther King, everything he stood for. Martin Luther King was not about race. Martin Luther King was about anti-usury. He was about the light, the enlightenment. A tariff throws the power. You go into a job 40 hours a week and you're productive and everything good comes to your life and soul, which happened in the 50s and 60s and 70s. You couldn't get foreign cheap goods in because it wasn't allowed. Our families, our parents didn't allow it. You used a sweatshop? Oh, remember Catherine Lee Giver? They would ostracize you. You'd be thrown out of the country. You'd go to jail. You paid a person cash, a brown person from Mexico paid cash to mow your lawn, to cook your food, to make your bed. You would go to jail because of the economic thesis, the moral thesis. They understood. They come through in the Depression. They knew what it was to be hungry. Cinderella man, watch it. That's exactly how it was. They knew. They loved their neighbors. They cared. They knew that it was fucking usury. And they knew that it was immoral to enslave another human being in a passive-aggressive fucking way. No, none of you know that. So you go on, and I can prove it. Your debt status, the number one issue in 1,000 years of socioeconomic studies, 1,000 years of them, the number one thing that people are unwilling to talk about is their sexuality. Now it's their debt structure. It proves it. We'll talk more about this on Thursday. But for I am the light, it shines inside of me. You can't take that from me. As I live to tell, 1986, look it up. Who wrote that song? I have a tale to tell. Oh, so men, they can hide it well. Look at the lyrics.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Plumgate, 311, whatever you